finger across the toilet roll dispenser in the toilet, you will have a white finger. There is coke use.
According to a recent study, over 95% of the toilets in London's bars and pubs have cocaine residue. In fact, Europe is now consuming more cocaine than anywhere else in the world.
You know, it used to be the drug of the higher classes, and now, you know, you'll get builders who sit in a pub all day snorting cocaine, and everyone's on it, regardless of class, what they do for a job. It's almost as acceptable as drinking, for my generation anyway.
Today, Europe is consuming an average of 146 tons of cocaine every year. In order to meet the demand, drug lords in South America, the world's foremost supplier of cocaine, have had to overcome the geographical challenge that previously limited their access to Europe. In the last 5 years, they found an easier route, via West Africa.
If you look at the globe, you can see immediately that West Africa is the closest point of entry for cocaine cultivated in Latin America.
To better understand how so much cocaine from Africa is making its way into Europe, I headed to southern Italy, one of the easiest access points into the European cocaine market.
As early morning as possible, as early as 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, you will see the boxes filled up. They go to where they look for work, but at the end of the day, the boxes are filled up again, returning back, because only the few of them can manage to get some job. Most of them, they left their home country because they come in here to survive well, but getting to this place, they met a different story.
The thousands of Africans who've come to Casa Volturno find they've arrived in one of Europe's most lawless towns, ruled by the local mafia, known as the Camorra. And with unemployment in the area so high, they have a steady flow of desperate immigrants willing to help them sell cocaine.
The people, we meet them here, they have collaboration with the Camorrists. You understand? Camorrists give them house, Camorrists give them everything. And they show you money, they show you big house, they show you car, they show you freedom, which is fake.
Would you say that most people you know in this area have at one point dealt cocaine?
When they get chance, they do it. Even good people, he arrive today, tomorrow, when he see chance, he do it, because he don't eat yesterday, he don't eat today, tomorrow what he's going to eat? I've been working in factory, he give me 15 euro a day. Another man tell me that, let me give you chance to have 100 euro, 1 hour, what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Take the 100 euro.
Thank you.
There's no work. There's no job. Most of my brothers, they're selling this. There's no work. Then coming here to work, to help yourself, to help your family, and if there's no other alternative, you're forced to go on selling drugs just to survive.
In order to fund their own cocaine trafficking operations, Nigerian crime syndicates have turned to trafficking women for prostitution. Every year, Nigerian gangsters lure African women to Italy with the promise of a job. But upon arrival, they're forced to work as prostitutes in order to pay off what their traffickers claim is a travel debt. This woman, like many others, was promised a job as a hairdresser, but when she arrived, was forced to work as a prostitute to help fund the cocaine trade.
They know that if they tell somebody back there in Africa that it's going to come here for prostitution, no one will come. So they just have to lie to say they have a very big store here for hairdressing, but at the end of the day, you will find out that the story is different.
So how much of a debt do you have to pay off?
60,000 euro.
60,000 euro?
Yeah.
Did you have any concept of how much money that was?
No.
How much did they pay you to?
Well, they used to pay 10 euro.
10 euro?
Yeah, for one person.
If you only get 10 euro per person and you have to pay off 60,000 euro,
yeah.
That's 6,000 men?
A car and several scooters drove by a tailor shop. Camorra gunmen pulled out an AK-47 and semi-automatic pistols, gunning down 6 African immigrants. The incident was considered a signal from the Camorra to the West African community that they had overstepped their bounds in the cocaine market. On our last day in Casa Volturno, we headed to meet the brother of one of the victims, who continues to live above the tailor shop where the massacre took place.
Tell me a little bit what happened a couple months ago.
The thing was very terrible. Here, 6 people was dead here.
It was right here.
As we continued our conversation, I didn't notice that the Camorra had begun to circle us on scooters, warning us to leave the story alone.
The controllers also are taking control.
Who's controlling?
The controllers. All this was examples of those. You want to know the type, and you know it, but don't let me voice out.
The Camorra's warning was enough to get us to leave the scene, but the African community had already reached its breaking point. Immediately following the shooting in September, riots broke out in Casa Volturno. The African community claimed the 6 men shot weren't drug dealers, and they demanded justice for the Camorra's actions. The riots left Casa Volturno even more devastated and divided. But as Europe's appetite for cocaine continues to grow, so do tensions over who controls the lucrative trade. Meanwhile, African immigrants continue to arrive here, only to find themselves in a more desperate place than the one they left